Welcome back to the Bak'n Show. In today's episode, we're going to go over the veg corner. In the veg corner, we have the 2x2 here on my right and the 2x4 here on my left. But today's episode is more about what we see right here in front of us in the box. That is the ultrasonic humidifier from Spider Farmer. It's a 6-liter humidifier that we're going to unbox today, and we're going to hook it up to the 2x4. But I did see a splitter in there, and if that is the case, I'm going to run a splitter. I'm going to put this humidifier on the floor right here between these two tents and run the splitter into the two tents and see if that works. But if not, this is mainly the veg tent right here anyway. So I mainly need it in here for vegging the plants. Over here, this is the Grow Peaceful, pretty much going to be the Grow Peaceful tent, growing the autoflower. Now, early part of the growth of the autoflower, we'll call it the veg cycle, it could use the humidity. So if I am able to split that off of one of the attachments that I seen in here, I thought it looked like a splitter. So if that's the case, I'm going to split it off into the two tents. But if not, we'll just be right here in this 2x4. So let's get the items out of the box and let's see what's inside the box. All right, we have each items out of the box and unpacked. Right here, as you can see, that is the reservoir for the humidifier. That's the top. This reservoir here comes in two pieces. This is the tank up at the top, and it's the brain down here at the bottom where the controller is and all that is. And you can see that where it would light up at. That's the cord. Looks pretty long. The power cord anyway. It looks pretty long. As I said, this is the lid. These are the hoses that come along with it. That piece attaches to that, and then the hoses attaches to this. With that piece attached to that, and so on and so forth. That is the sensor for the humidity. So I guess it reads the humidity in the tent that it's in, that you run it into. Now remember, I said that I was intending to use this in both of these tents here, and because I saw this splitter here where I can run, these are corrugated hoses where you can just pull them apart and they extend out to quite a distance. And I'm going to show you each one of those. Obviously, this is the long one, the center one, and these two here will branch off from here and from here. In this case, I'm going to run this one, or one side, excuse me. I'm going to have the tank sitting there. I'm going to have one side run it into this tent and one side run it into this tent here and see if it works. Well, those are the items. Oh yeah, I didn't go over this stuff here. This is the user manual. And these are the other items that come along with it. This is the strap, I guess, to strap up your cords. There's two of them there. So one, I guess, for access, if you have a lot of cord left over, you can tie it up and use one of those straps there. And also for your humidity cord, sensor cord, it's pretty long. So I'm sure you're going to probably have to tie part of that up when using it. And it has a little brush here for cleaning. And that little configuration there is to hold the cord, your sensor. I think you can put that inside your tin or somewhere, and because it has the 3M sticky part to the back, I guess you can mount it up somewhere and have your cord connected to that. That's kind of how that's set up, where I guess the cord will run through the hole here, and then you can mount it. And like I said, it has the 3M sticker on the back. So I'm sure once we open up the user manual, which is here, we'll get to see exactly what all this is. So let's take a look inside the manual now and see what we got going on. All right, here's the user manual. And I'm gonna get in a little closer so you can see, but the first section right over here is our section here for the 6-liter. This one over here, I believe, is for the 16-liter. This area here is showing you how to set it up inside your tent and fill it up with the water. And over here, how everything operates when you're cleaning. You're cleaning, and yeah, how you clean. This whole section here is how you clean it, and that's where that brush there comes into play. Let's get a little closer. As I was saying to you, got up on your top left, the straps That'll to tie up your cords, your tool bag that comes with your another strap there and there with your brush and all your attachment in the center line there, your hoses, your clamps, your sensors, and then down here your reservoir tank and your brain controller down at the bottom there. The hoses I had attached to the top. See step 1 there, how the tank goes on top of the brain controller. Your sensor is connected to it. You see that there. And that's that little, what I was just mentioning to you here, that little square there. Where are we at? Here. The 3M deal there. That is right here. That's what they're talking about. Using that to hold your sensor up inside your tent. Or wherever you have it at your room. Everybody doesn't grow in tents. Step 2, connect your hose, which is that hose there. Excuse me for being so zoomed in, but I want you to see the papers here. Down to step 3, you put that attachment there with that. You see that, how that goes there? One hose straight to the reservoir. The other side is the splitter and the other hoses. And you just run that inside your tents. There's no step 5. That's just pretty much it right there. So that's what the diagram, the user manual looks like. Gives you a pretty good idea how to set this thing up. And inside, once you get it put together, you run it inside your tent. How the hoses should be ran, as you can see on the left there, the left diagram. You don't want your hose sticking up pointed up towards the ceiling and your lights. You want it pointed down as it is in the right diagram there. How to add the water to your tank. And again, we're using a smaller one here on the left. That's the 6 liter. The one on the right is the 16 liter. Just add water directly to the tank itself. And then over here, like I said, this is all cleaning. But yeah, so we see all the parts. Let's back out a little bit here. Got all the parts and how everything is put together. So now let's put it together and put it where I want it. Like I said to you, I'm going to have mine sitting roughly in that area right here between these two tents. So let's get that done. Now, one of the very first things I saw was I took the top reservoir here off of the controller here, the base. I noticed they had this little styrofoam around this float valve right here. And you have to remove that. Let's just take that sticker off of there and see this little styrofoam here. You just remove that off of there and that will just drop down to the bottom. So now we're gonna hook up our sensor cord right here. Let's do that next. All right, when you first start setting it up, you gotta remember to take off the piece of tape here that you'll see in this piece of styrofoam that's keeping your float valve from moving around. They had that in there for when doing transport, it wouldn't be flopping around like such. So make sure you take that off before you put any water inside that tank there. The next thing is to hook up my sensor cord, which is here, to that. As you see that, those fittings go together just like that. Screw them together, and then your cord, you put it wherever you need to put it at. So let's hook those two areas. Let's hook these two together now. All right, I got the reservoir set in the spot that I want. Then put it up on a just to get up off the floor, just in case I have any problems down here. Water, my hot water tank, as you can see, sits right behind here. And if it ever, and it's brand new, so I doubt if it ever leaks. Well, it shouldn't leak within the next 10 years. But if anything like that was to happen, this crate keeps this reservoir and controller up off the floor so it wouldn't get wet. As you can see right over to the left of that, you see the carbon filter there, 4-inch carbon filter for this, for both of these, because both of those are hooked up to that 4-inch exhaust fan and carbon filter. You see I got that up off the floor too, and that's the reason why in the past I've had floods down here in my basement because of rain. Had massive rains in my area, and my basement got flooded a few years ago. Since I did make some changes out in my yard, putting a new drainage system in and all that, and since then I haven't had any problems. But just to be on the safe side, I try to lift everything up off the floor. Like my tent here is one of the things I'm going to do next. This one's going to get put up on some wheels, like this one here. If you can notice that this is up off the floor, I got it on these wheels right here, so I can move it around. But that's enough of that. Now back to the Spider Farmer humidifier that we have set up. I have this is the sensor right here. I already got that ran and out that little hole right over there and down to the system. And now we're going to put the lid on, add these two hoses, well, three hoses, because the center one, and then we got the two that is going to branch off, and I'm gonna run them into both of these tents here. So this is where we are so far. I've already filled it up. There's water in there, as you can see, it's maxed out. And now let's do this next part. Come back and I'll show you that. All right, I put the lid on. Then I added the first hose. That's the main hose. I just got that hanging there for right now. And then I was putting this together to T, as I said, I was gonna have them branch out in both of these tents here, that one and that one, going through that hole and that hole right there. So as I was putting the T together, I realized, and this is something simple, I'm sure you'll probably figure this out on your own, that the two sides, this end and this end down here, are made a little differently. This end here with the graduated little rivets in it, that's the side that fits down on here, and they're going to catch these little notches here with these little notches here, and it will allow it to stay snugly fit on here. Just something simple, but I just said, well, let me just bring that to people's attention. You'll notice it yourself once you put it on there, because this side could go on there, but it's not going to fit snug like it should. It's definitely this side here. So let's do that next. All right, now I got the hoses connected together. I just disconnected it from the top of the reservoir so you can see. That piece there fits into that piece there. The hose connected right there. And I pulled it out so you can see how far it kind of stretches out. There's quite a bit of distance there. I don't obviously need all that, but I was just showing you. And these pipes here on the end, both ends, they do the same thing. They stretch out. So let me put this back on here real quick, and then I'm gonna run these hoses in the tent so you can see what it looked like before I turn it on. All right, we're back, and as you can see, the mist is running and is blowing into each tent. So yes, that splitter there works great. You see the mist circling around in there, and the same thing right there. So yes, this is going to work fantastic. Now let's go over the system a little bit more, because this system is a little bit more complex than a simple humidifier. Let me get the screen back on. As you can see, it's set to 64% humidity. That's on the left, and it's 73 degrees Fahrenheit in that tent. And there's the sensor right there. Now this thing does quite a few different things here. Let's go over the buttons here. Power button, obviously. It's the mist control, how much you got coming out. Turn that back on again. The humidity, if you want to change the humidity level, is right there. And this is your timer on this side here. So you can set it to run at different times of the day. I'm going to get a little bit more in depth into this thing here to see if it just turns on and turns up. Well, I'm sure to turn on and turn off when you set the parameters that you want for this thing here. Yeah, set the fog volume, divide it into 1 to 4 gears from low to high. The volume is between 270 and 450 mLs. So yes, you can control that. Let me see the timer. Set a countdown timer to turn your humidifier off, ranging between 1 and 12 hours, 1 hour increments. So you can set it that way for how long you want it to run based on if you want to run the timer. The current mist level, like I said, that button there on your top right, that controls how strong the mist comes out of the system. And then everything else is just talking about the humidity working icon. During the operation of constant humidity function, the value below illuminates icon to set the value. Okay, that's just showing you whatever your humidity is in there. Timer run icon. When the timer function is running, the remaining runtime value will be displayed below the illuminated timer icon. So that's if you got your timer on and it's just doing a countdown. Got an alert icon on here also. When the water in the water tank is below the minimum water level, the red water shortage alarm icon will flash for 15 seconds and the buzzer will sound the buzzer will sound 3 times before entering the shutdown state. That's the probe humidity display. That's just letting you know your humidity value in your tent, timer value, current temperature display. Yeah, so that's what it is. You got to go once you get you one of these. You just go over the user manual and you set it to your parameters to what you want this thing to run. Do you want it to run continuously? You want it to run a certain amount of time during the course of your day? You can do all of those things there. And then how much mist is coming out of there. Like this side here is really blowing pretty hard, as you can see. And this one ain't doing too bad either. So pretty even, actually. But yeah, how strong that mist level comes out of there. So those are all the things you need to set up for your situation. But yeah, that's what it looks like. That's what this Spider Farmer humidifier looks like and how it works. And hopefully if you get yourself one of them, you'll use my coupon code. I'll have it listed down in the description. And if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, share, and subscribe. Oh, real quick before I end this, all of these plants that you see here are now going to go back to their regular home over here. So, until the next time, stay baking.